Grease is the word today. We're here at the rehearsals of the new West End production of the show, starring Peter Andre as Vince Fontaine and with Dame Arlene Phillips choreographing the show. I'm going to go and see if they'll let me join the Pink Ladies.
Okay, cats, throw your mittens around your kittens and away we go!
It is a dream come true because when I were a kid, it was acting that I studied, not music. And then I kind of went into music, which I loved. And I said to my dad, when I get to my 40s, I'm going to move into acting. And he was like, yeah, okay, good on you, son, go and do your homework. And actually, when I got to my 40s, I did my first film 3 years ago, a short film in America, which got nominated for all these awards. So I was like, wow, you know, we can do this. And I'm just in the middle of filming a new feature film at the moment. And I get to do the West End. It's like, wow, you know, wow. It's amazing fun.
You're obviously used to performing on stages yourself in front of live audiences, everybody's singing and dancing. This is a quite different experience being in the West End. Everybody sat down quietly, looking very focused at you. How do you find that?
I love it because it gets you to be, you're able to be the character. You're able to be, you know, and my character in this, Vince Fontaine, is meant to be a bit of a clumsy Elvis. That's the whole point. He's sort of like, thinks he's cool, but he's a bit past his sell-by date, a bit like me, right? But he's like, I don't mean the cool bit, but I mean a bit past the sell-by date. But it's like, he gets to be, you get to be that. And there's a lot of pauses where I'm looking at the guys and I'm going, okay, cats, and I pause and I get their reactions, and you can do all that because they're listening. And then of course when the songs come on, they all know the songs, and there's so much movement and it's great.
So you're in the West End now. Is there another West End show you've got your eye on? What's the dream?
Well, so I did 2 weeks in Thriller, which was brilliant, and that was great because it was basically just singing my favourite songs of all time. But I've never done a stint. And I've never done the acting in the West End, so this is my first of that. I think theatre, I'll always hold it close to my heart, and you know, obviously film, I really want to do now, which we're doing. So I think a combination of the two would be fantastic.
How are you feeling about your kids coming to see you on stage in the West End?
So I'm really proud of it because, you know, I feel it's a big achievement. You can achieve a lot of things, but when it's like going on Broadway in America. It's just one of those things that you tick off the list of some things that you'd love to achieve. I think people in the entertainment industry, so I'm really happy. And for them to come and see me, I love it because it's a fun show. They laugh, they see me in like 50s outfits. I mean, when I wore the Teen Angel outfit, which is all pink glitter, and Ginny is like, I want to wear that out one night, you know, like it's so cool to have them come and see it. Brilliant.
Be wanting to follow in your footsteps.
Yeah, I mean, he's I'm so proud of him because he's following in his own footsteps, you know, and I love that. He's great. I'm all about, I say to them all the time, even with his music that he's about to release, I say, you need artistic freedom. You don't need me saying, do it like this, no. You do it how you see it, because it's your vision. And then he will grow and see the bits that he likes and he doesn't like and get better and better. And I think that's so important.
Obviously you're working in the West End but juggling family life. How are you finding making that balance of being up here in London all the time?
Well, I'm really happy that this is West End because it means I can go home every night. And I've promised Emily, and I don't know if I've prematurely promised it, but I said I'll get up every morning and do the kids, take them to school. Because if I don't have to start till the evening, it means I can go home at some point in the day and have an hour's kip. But now I'm worried that I've said it and I'm not going to get that hour's kip, so I've got to rethink. I've got to try and hope that she forgets, but she's too young to forget.
Yeah.
She's not at the stage of forgetting things. I should have thought that one through.
You're going to be doing the school run.
I'm doing it every day. And then on Thursdays I've got 2 shows and Saturdays I've got 2 shows, but they're fun. 2 show days are brilliant.
Obviously everybody knows Grease, we've all got different memories of it growing up. Do you remember the first time that you became aware of it and saw it?
You're gonna laugh at this. I remember the day it was released in the cinema. I was 5 years old, and I remember it because people were going to see this new show called Grease, and I wasn't allowed because I was 5. But when I was allowed, I went and saw it, I think 10 or 11, maybe 11 or 12 times consecutively. I just went every week. I saved up my money and went every week. That and Back to the Future, they were my two favourite films. And both of them are produced by Colin.
And both on the West End.
And both on the West End.
That could be the next gig.
Who would I play? Am I old enough to play Doc Brown, and am I young enough to play Michael J. Fox? I think the answer is no. I could play When They Go to the Future for 20 years, but they haven't done that yet.
Maybe they need to make another version. You get a bit of Mysterious Girl in there.
Back to the Mysterious Future. Oh no, doesn't work, does it? It was a good idea. No, it wasn't even a good idea. Shocking.
You were trending on Saturday night because of Mysterious Girl being on Top of the Pops from years ago again. Do you think you'll ever be sick of that song?
Do you know what? I can never be fed up of a song that's... All right, let me give you an example. So I get sent videos from around the world of where it's played in clubs still to this day, and every summer in the UK it's played in clubs, right? But the other night when Tyson Fury fought and they did Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, right? Sweet Caroline, they were all singing it, yeah? I remember my brother playing me that song in the 70s, was it? And imagine being him and hearing your song being sung by 94,000 people live across the world. And that's the dream. So whenever the song gets played or people send me videos, I'm like, I'm so lucky, even if it's just one song. We had a few number ones, but that was the one. Even if it's one song to be played again and again, it's like an honor. I never get tired of, I get tired of hearing myself sing it, but I like other people singing it.
I got chills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control, 'cause the power you're supplying.
Growing up, I used to love watching the film, so I was just so excited to be listening to the songs every single day. But yeah, this is a slightly different focus. It's definitely female empowered, and there's a lot more focus on the feminine kind of roles within the show, which has been really nice actually, especially in this like present day.
It's kind of like highlighting that by, you know, there's the script's been rewritten as well, so we have a few more scenes which are really great and they're really helpful for the characters, aren't they?
Yeah.
And also I think we didn't want to shy away from highlighting the toxic masculinity and like the kind of machismo and the bravado of the guys. You know, we're kind of like really running a highlighter over that to kind of just be like, oh, look how silly these young guys are and how young it makes them look next to these brilliant women. And obviously they're all kind of 17, 18 years old, so they're all at that, like we all were, you know, when you're at school, everyone's kind of a little further down the line of kind of maturity and kind of sexual awareness and stuff like that. So it's been really fun to kind of explore where everyone is on that line, you know, and how some of them you think, oh God, they're just like kids, you know.
If I'm gonna
Yeah, it's Sandy and Danny in Greece.
yeah.
Like it's amazing, but with that comes a lot of responsibility. So it is nerve-wracking, but it's been so amazing in this production. Nikolai Foster and Del White have been so great at allowing us to find our own versions of the characters. And obviously with this new production, it's allowed us to find different kind of dynamics to the partners. And so it's been really eye-opening. Me especially, like I felt with Sandy, I always used to just think that her transition was at the end when she comes out in leather. And it's actually, she grows so much from like early on in Act 1. So it's been really, really nice to kind of like find that from an earlier start and then grow on that.
How's it working with Arlene? Is she putting you through your paces?
Yeah.
She's insane.
Yeah.
She's insane. Just watching her and seeing her mind. Like I personally, I have a lot of respect when it comes to putting a show together and having that kind of imagination and kind of visualizing how it all comes together. I could never do that. So watching a master, like you know,
it's quite phenomenal. You know, I think like kind of knowing everything that she's worked on and all the shows that Greece originally, and I've worked on one of her shows before, and it's just like the creativity, it is so inspiring, and it kind of, when you're thrust into a rehearsal environment where you're working with people like this, it makes you kind of step up your game, and it's been wonderful.
It is really made for a new generation. It's gritty, it's earthy, it's really based on the true story of the guys who were part of Grease. They were in the high school in Chicago when the writer wrote their stories. And I think it has the songs from the film that people know and love, but it has some new songs.
So many of us have such long-running connections with Grease. I was in it as a school. What's your journey been with the show? Because you've been involved right from the beginning of it being in the West End, haven't you?
Well, in 1993, Robert Stigwood, who produced the film of Grease, decided that he wanted to do a very, very expansive musical based on the film of Grease. So together with David Ian and Paul Nicholas, they produced this big production at the Dominion, starring Debbie Gibson and Craig McLachlan, that I was asked to choreograph. And so that was my first really look at Grease, and started working on it, developing it. And it was very, very much a glitzy musical that ran for 25, 26 years, non-stop, you know, on tour, in the West End, out of the West End, in, out, Australia. And it was a fantasy of a reality, And I was very involved with it, you know, putting on productions everywhere. And then there was a break, and the rights went to Nikolai Foster at Curve, and he asked me to work on the choreography, and I went, the only way I could possibly do this is to reinvent it totally. And then he talked to me about how he had looked at the show, looked at wanting to make changes to the show, and he got permission to do that. And so, you know, mix the old show with the new show, and it's raw, it's edgy, it's a Grease on its own. It's independent. Yes, of course, it has the film songs. It has the names of the characters that so many know, but much more earthy.
Obviously, with the show being so well known, how do you make sure you balance keeping in the bits that everybody wants to see and bringing something new to it?
I think that the trick with Grease is that because it's shown on television, I mean, I think you could just watch it on 24 hours it's on so many channels, that it's part of people's DNA. They know the music, they love the music, it's already sort of there. And I think so the trick is to give people what they know and want and love, all that familiarity that makes people feel comfortable, that makes them feel, oh my God, this is this warm blanket called Grease I can wrap around me. But then all of this new stuff to extend their thought process, to extend what they're seeing, and to make them think about the way Grease is a story of our time, and it is a story of teenagers and all those ups and downs they go through.
And you've got Peter Andre starring as Vince Fontaine. How is his dancing?
Peter Andre actually can dance. He really can. He's showing off those hip moves. He can't help it. He just like moves like that. He's such fun to work with and so lovely. The cast adore him, and he spends time with each and every one of them. And when you've got your sort of leading man, Peter Andre, it's like, yeah, he's the warm blanket for them.
Well, previews of the show are getting started on the 3rd of May at the Dominion Theatre.